Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Diplomatic Corner, a program that comes to you every week this hour. I am Marcellin with the program. Today we are sitting with a guest from Benin to talk about the cultural and people-to-people relations between Benin and Ethiopia. So don't go away and enjoy the program. I think one of the reasons for Africa's sluggish development and civilization is colonization. Please take a moment to take us through the period of colonization in Africa, and especially the history of colonization in your own country.
We have two types of colonization in Africa. We have self-ruling process of colonization implemented by the British countries, who are not like a policeman behind the countries which they colonized, and we have guided government process of French people who are there, who thinks that African people, they are unable to rule their countries. They have to be there to design their policies, to do. Obviously, it's in their own interest. So, talking about colonization, what I say to people is that African, they fought colonization to get where they are, to get their freedom, to get their independence. When I take an example of Algeria, for instance, it's fiercely fought colonization for its freedom. It pays the highest price in terms of human lives to get its independence. As far as Benin is concerned, to come back to Benin, Benin saw in the 16th and 17th century, Portuguese, they landed to Benin, and they are the one to give Benin political capital its name, Porto Novo. So, but they did not last longer. French people, they came. And there was a king which we called the Béanzin. He fought them for 4 years before surrendering himself. And he has been betrayed. He wanted to go and see the king of France or the president of France that time to negotiate. They told him, no, you need to go and negotiate and have a kind of pourparlers with that president. So they kept him there and they replaced him here. The colonization has not been easy for French people in Benin. But at the end of the day, we Benin people, we said, okay, they came with gun and all that. What allows them to win the war even after 4 years? Because Benin army, that time, we have two genders of soldiers in our army. We are one of the few countries to have Amazon women soldiers, and the king only sends the women soldiers to the front, while the men has failed. When the men failed, so Amazon, when they go, they win. So we assessed. We said, okay, what allowed French people to win that war? So there is a knowledge. And we said that we need to go to get that knowledge in order to wage the other war, the political war, the economic war, and many other things. So that's the process we went through. In fact, from 1972 to 1989, Benin was under a revolutionary rule. The president was an anti-colonialist, anti-imperialist. The former president, the late Matthew Kerekou, he was anti-imperialist, anti-colonialist, ideological. He ruled the country, taking into account an anti-colonialist, anti-imperialist framework. Then, I think that the society evolves. So Benin people said we need more democracy, we need more freedom, and then We did not fight. We did not shoot a single bullet. We sat and we said, let's chart the future of our country. So we did that during a conference. We call it National Conference. And we are the first country to launch that type of conference. And after us, we have Niger, we have Mali, we have the DRC, we have Congo, Brazzaville, we have Gabon. All the French-speaking countries, most of them, I would say, wanted to go the same way, because they said, listen, we managed to chart the future of our country without shooting a single bullet. So they could do the same thing. But today, Benin remains one of the few truly democratic countries. We have our challenges. I will not deny that, because it will be ideal to have a full democratic country without any challenge. But we have our challenges. We are still working to perfect our democratic process in Benin. But when I sit here to speak to you, we have freedom of expression. Even if we don't have absolute freedom of expression, we have freedom of expression. Citizens have the right to voice their frustration. And yes, there is progress. There is a lot more to be done, but there is progress.
Let's now talk about the liberation movements. Mm-hmm. What do you say about them?
Which ones?
Which inspired you the most?
We have Emperor Menelik II here, who defeated Italian at Adwa battles. We have them. We have FLN, the Liberation National Front in Algeria, who defeated, I talked about it earlier on, who defeated French colonizers in Algeria. We have Frelimo in Mozambique, defeating the Portuguese colonialists. It's a long story. We have Amilcar Cabral in Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau. Yes. We have ANC in South Africa, who fought apartheid for centuries, and finally they won. They are in power. So earlier on, I don't know if you paid attention to it, when I said that African, they did not say arm folded in front of colonization. They fought colonization. Yes, they fought it. They fought it fiercely. Many people lost their lives. I can go on to cite Nkrumah, President Kwame Nkrumah. I can cite him in Ghana, Gold Coast that time. I can cite many more. Amilcar Cabral, many other people. It's not only in Benin. It's everywhere. But it doesn't mean that their fight puts an end to colonization. Colonization is still there. It just takes other form. It adopts other strategy and all that. And it's to the African now to unite, to get rid of all their differences, religious, tribalistic, class. They need to unite to say, okay, this is where we want our continent to be in 2, 3, 5 years, and work toward it. The African can only develop can be developed by only African, not anybody else. Nobody will come to Africa and develop Africa on our behalf. No, we need to do that and to reap the profit of our investment in terms of loving our countries, working hard for our countries, loving each other, stop putting boundaries between Ethiopian and the Beninois, for instance, stop putting boundary between a Nigerian and a Burkinabe, for instance. We need to get together truly. We need a true unit, a true and effective unity for this continent, because it's a great continent. It's a great continent. Africa is 10 times Europe. In terms of with its extension and all that. So let's start having faith in ourselves that we can do something for our countries, for our continent. Everything, let's start loving our countries, our continent, and everything starts from there. You see, you'll not take a Chinese now, whether he is rich or not, and you are going to talk badly about China. He'll tell you, no, it's my country. Let's start emulating those kind of behavior toward our countries and our continent. There is no country in the world that doesn't have problem. All the world has problem. The whole world has problem. But today, what I'm requesting for us Africans is to start loving each other and put our differences aside and start talking about how we get our continent developed. How do we let a continent, a peaceful continent, a rich continent, to our children or for children? How do we do that? So that's the issues that we could sit and address peacefully.
Do you believe, in your opinion, has Africa undergone meaningful and positive change since its liberation movements?
Definitely. AU is one of a great achievement of Africa, because in 1958, from 1958 to 1963, African leaders of that time, Emperor Haile Selassie, Kwame Nkrumah, Zambian President Maga from Benin, they found the necessity of creating a union where Africans will work toward peace, development, and comfort of their citizens. Look, 1963, when AU was launched in May, you see? So, it was a good initiative. It was a good initiative. It went until 2002, it became African Union in Durban. The African Union Summit that took place in Durban in 2002, I think, or I can't remember the date, put in place an architecture where all the issues concerning the Africa is taken into account. That created a Pan-African Parliament, a legislative body of the African Union. It created African universities to train many African. We have one in Cameroon, one in Nairobi, for instance, and other one, Institute of Statistics in Tunisia. We have universities that trains African, and AU created scholarship for students to be trained in those universities. So we have, despite the challenge that Africa faces, we have made tremendous progress today. I'm here sitting with you, not in a context of war, but in a context of peace. If there was a war, you'll not leave your studio to come and conduct this interview. So that is something that we need to be grateful for. Yes, they work. There are a lot to be done. There are a lot to be done. What is done so far is nothing compared to what is left to be done. And I'm sure that it will be done. Our generation will carry out that, and the generation that will come will continue the journey. The African journey, all in all, for me, it's completely positive, because we came from somewhere, we are somewhere today, you see. So for me, it's really meaningful, the progress that Africa, that prevents me from saying that there is still a lot to be done.
Speaking of the African Union, how important this great and giant organization in the vision for a strong and independent Africa?
Yes, African Union is an organization an organization with very interesting goals to achieve. Very interesting goals to achieve. It's one of the things that African Union does today is to have a right to interfere in domestic affairs. When there is a crisis somewhere, African Union ensures that it calls on former presidents such as Olusegun Obasanjo, former former head of African Union Commission like Ahmed Salim from Tanzania, to be in a delegation, to go to the concerned countries and to talk to the conflicting parties. That's how we do in Africa. It takes the wise and elderly people to come to a house where there is conflict and to talk to the conflicting parties. Then African Union takes this as a process of conflict negotiation, mediation, and all that. And that's one of the things that they do. Coming to Agenda 2063, it's a great tool. It's a great and positive tool. Now, the big job will be to convince African countries to come on board as far as the implementation of this agenda is concerned. To cut a long story short, I would like to say that Africa doesn't lack initiatives, and Africa is aware of the issue affecting the population, the people of the continent. So Africa is taking initiative to fight these issues, to meet the challenges that the continent faces, and that is something that we need to be grateful for, that we need to commend. Yes, implementation takes time, and it calls for resources. It also calls for political will. So I think that when all these criteria are met, we'll go somewhere. History will talk about this continent.
What steps do you believe are necessary to overcome the major obstacles that hinders Africa's progress towards democracy, peace, development, and full independence?
Unity. I have only one word: unity. Full unity. Ethiopian must feel Ethiopian, not only in Ethiopia, but in Nigeria, in Benin, in Algeria, in Somalia. Beninois must feel Beninois in Ethiopia, in South Africa, everywhere. Effective unity. Effective unity. If we are united on this continent, we will overcome all the challenges that, or most of them, that the continent faces. Because, you know, Ethiopia produced things that we need in Benin. If we come, we assess the product, we negotiate with the government, we say that we need this product. Can't you export it to Benin? In Benin, we have this. We can export it. It's not about only material, agricultural product. It's not only about minerals, no. It's about also human resources. Because when we talk about human resources, we talk about expertise. Which expertise that we can sell to Ethiopia, we can bring to Ethiopia. Which expertise that South Africa could bring to Gabon, to Benin, to Togo, for instance. Why do we need to go far to look for an expertise that we have on the continent, and which are aware, conscious of the political, cultural environment of the country? I think that the continental expertise is more useful to the continent than any other expertise, you see. For me, one main word is unity. Unity. I am ready to carry an African passport to go to Europe, and I'm sure that European or American will respect me when I carry a single passport. Exactly, you know. So for me, it's unity. It's unity completely. We discard our differences, we get to real unity, and we said, okay, we are the same people. Exactly. Historically, studies show that we came from the same civilization. Yes, we came, migration making people to go along the Nile River and to spread along the equator. So there are researches that demonstrate that. Why do we need to fight now? And there is no interest fighting. There is a lot of interest uniting. Absolute unity. For me, it's the only remedy that can cure all the diseases, that will cure the challenges, the problem that the continent faces. Unity. To come to Ethiopia, I need visa, and I pay for it. You see, to go to Rwanda, I don't need visa, because Rwanda scrapped the visa for all African. Benin did the same. So to go to Nairobi here, you Ethiopian, you need visa. I don't know if I'm right. You see, so let's start full integration, talking about those things. What can I sell you? What can I buy from you? Simple thing that along the years will build trust, confidence, unity, etc. You see, for me, it's one single word: unity.
Let's finally come to the involvement of African youth. What role should African youth play in realizing the aspirations of the Africa we want?
You know, youth is capital, is paramount in any country. Demographically, they are far superior to elderly people. They have energy. They come up with initiatives. They are creative. But today, the youth is faced with problems such as unemployment, lack of resources, etc., etc. But we can fight that, because in every country now, we can personal initiatives, we can undertake personal initiative, creating things that will allow us to live. To safeguard and to work toward the African we want, the youth need to be a custodian. Youth to appropriate this agenda first in all African languages. We need to translate it to them, because we cannot say that all the African youth speak the foreign language. So they must be made aware of the content of this agenda first. Secondly, the leaders could tell the youth, would come up with the role that they could play, because they are the future. Whatever we do, we cannot do it without the youth. We cannot do it keeping aside the youth. No, we need to get them cognizant of the agenda. We need to get them cognizant of their role. We need to get them cognizant with the objective that we are trying to attain. We need to tell them that we need, and more than that, we need to bring them on board. They need to be of paramount, central to anything, any process, any strategy that should be put in place. I think that the youth importance is paramount in anything that we decided to do on this continent. We need to give them space. We need to lead them. We need to make them responsible. We need to give them responsibilities. We need not to discriminate against them by saying, no, they are too young, they know nothing. No. They know a lot. They know more than we do. Because with the rise of social networks, now they have access to knowledge, and the importance of knowledge in whatever we do, development, fight against poverty, the knowledge is very important, and they have that knowledge today. So African youth, we need to get them in a central, we need to make them central to anything, any initiative that is taken in the interest of the countries African countries in the interest of the continent.
We're done with all the questions we have come up with. You have wonderfully answered the questions in a good manner. And lastly, is there any additional message you would like to share with our audience?
No, I would like to tell your audience that we are in a wonderful country. We need to learn from what is done in this country, and we need to bring them what positive is coming from our countries. That's how we start building unity, experience sharing. That's how we start building unity between Ethiopia and our respective countries. Thank you for this interview.
Mr. Marcellin, thank you very much indeed for your time and being on our program, and we hope we will be meeting and discussing some of the issues, topics in the future, and it's very kind of you.
Thank you so much. I'll be available.
Thank you so much. Well, that is all we have for today. Many thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.